Okay, hey, welcome. Welcome to the podcast Inside the Broken Family. We are so excited to be doing this. It's been an interesting ride because we started this in, I think, March. I want to say the beginning of March. And Peyton, our son, decided before that he wanted the whole family to come together and start writing expressions, poems, thoughts, stories, to kind of bring the family together so that we could maybe heal some things, heal ourselves, heal with each other. And we started this, and it has been really amazing. I actually was really scared the first time we read. It was intimidating to me, and I didn't think I was good enough to be able to do it. So I have learned that I am completely capable to write something. It may not be as perfect as I think it should be, or as good as someone else's, but it's mine, and that's what's important. We're really excited to have our son, Pierce, and his husband, Jeremy, here. And we are excited that they are a part of this. Does anyone have anything to say about last week's or any thoughts on anything before we start?
One thing before we continue. Stop moving your arm.
Take it off.
Sorry.
It's just going to pick it up. That's okay.
Sorry.
I really enjoyed last week's episode. It flowed very nicely. It was a hard topic for everybody, apparently.
Yeah.
For anybody who didn't watch, the topic was when I was young, I liked blue. And writing about that was interesting.
I actually loved everybody's stories in that. I thought it was really fun. And I thought it was really fun being able to talk about, like, if someone got enough of the topic in it. I thought that was really interesting to do if we thought each other's fit what we had asked each other to do.
And I thought that murder mystery dinner was going to be hard, and I thought that the blue theme would be maybe easier to write, but I think it was the opposite. I think it was harder to come up with the concept of when I was young, I liked blue, but it was fun.
It was very specific, so it was like
Really specific.
it was harder.
Well, and Jeff had written a story about the blue blanket the week before, and so I thought that was interesting that we picked the topic about blue, and I thought, oh my gosh, that's going to be really hard for him to write because he just wrote one about that particular topic. Okay, so first, who's going to go first? Do either one, Pierce or Jeremy, because you haven't done it before, do you want to go first or do you want to wait?
It's up to you to go.
Okay.
You keep asking people what they want.
I know, I just need to do
It's
it.
best to just.
All right.
When you're
Okay.
hosting, you pick.
I get to
nobody's
pick.
Yeah,
gonna
you
say
pick.
I want to go right now. Most nobody.
Okay, Peyton, let's start off with you.
I was going to have you guys pick between two stories, but I didn't end up finishing one of them, so I'm just going to read this one. This is called I Don't Have a Garden. The days I choose to walk are filled with a choice to water all the plants, flowers, and trees I can find. My intentions are right, but most of my time is spent walking, looking down. The ground is blurry. My feet are as clear. Sorry, something happened to my story. It got all mixed up.
Did mom get a hold of your story?
Yes. I have issues with my story. Wait.
No.
Yep, there's problems. We had to cut
No,
mine
there's
off.
your
Have
story
it,
right there.
I have it merged between my phone, my computer, and my iPad.
Nice.
And somewhere between those three,
Well, when you find it, would you start over?
yeah, I'm gonna start over.
Is this all part of the story?
Yes.
It was my
This
bad.
is how it goes.
Very specific.
Pierce, what are those stones?
This is green aventurine.
Green
Aventurine.
adventurine.
Yeah.
And is there some medicinal?
Some people think that it brings a positive energies around and kind of guards off certain energies, but
The color is really
it's
pretty.
also just a
Yeah,
stone.
the color is so pretty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
stone from our planet.
All right. I think it's okay now. Okay. All right. This is called I Don't Have a Garden. The days I choose to walk are filled with a choice to water all the plants, flowers, and trees I can find. My intentions are right, but most of my time spent walking is spent looking down. The ground around me is blurry. My feet are as clear as the open ocean. An unchanging motion, a wave-like up and down of my feet captivates my eyes. Surrounding me are others. I won't know their names or what their eyes might want to say. Their voices still will call for my attention. And my head does rise. Only when I look up, a blurred vision of the world around me takes hold. Nothing makes sense here. Nothing makes sense when I look up. The only thing that isn't blurred are my feet. So I'll keep looking down. Not at the ground. No, my feet need help. They can't move without my eyes on them, making sure to avoid any steps that might lead to a garden. One thing becomes clear as voices call me sweetly. My head will always rise just to fall forward towards my feet again. These voices only want one thing, to pick flowers and to plant trees. I'm not sure if planting a garden uniquely beautiful is the goal or covering up a weed-filled yard is. It doesn't matter. They want to pick flowers and plant trees. And I don't help them. Blurred vision, a fear of the unknown, and a sure view of my feet don't allow me to truly aid anyone in the way I want. When will I be able to help? Some days I'll look for flowers of my own. So many happy others, so many perfect fits. As my blurred vision only grows blurrier, feelings of never getting the chance to plant any garden of my own stops my feet from moving. This feeling that maybe the flower I need or the trees I want to plant have gone extinct. Maybe they are on another planet, or maybe someone has already taken them. None of this makes any sense. Questions of what I am doing or supposed to be doing become dull and lifeless. My garden won't ever be full, and no tree seems quite right. Possibly it is this blurred vision that hinders my choice. I think more likely that my choice of flower exists. I think more likely that no choice of flower exists for me. There is no tree for me. My blurred vision only coming as a result of this realization. There isn't anything I can write that hasn't been written. There isn't anything I can think that hasn't been thought. There is no way to plant a garden when every flower has already been planted and every tree has grown tall. None of this makes any sense, yet hope exists, only in the voices that call to me. The fact that my feet aren't blurry. Hope calls in the form of grace that I can maybe give. My blurred vision tells me I won't get to plant any flowers or trees. I can keep watering them for you. Hope fills my vision, not making it any clearer, just allowing me to step forward. I can water your flowers and trees. Can I make a world where your garden has a chance to be beautiful? A world where trees can grow tall. This is the light at the end of the tunnel for me. If you can have a garden that makes the sun wish it could give more light, or a tree so tall that it breaks through the atmosphere, then maybe I can keep stepping forward in a world that is so blurry. This place becomes less and less clear every day. As I grow more confused, Hope's voice calls my name, louder than any thoughts of not being able to step forward. This voice, Hope's voice, only exists in one form, grace. Grace that I will be able to give the gardeners around me.
I really like that because I can picture you, first of all, watering at Lowe's and thinking about that story. But more than anything, there's a couple different things that you said that I really liked. You were talking about wanting to plant your own garden, wondering if you would ever do that one day. There was another part about hearing sweet voices and watching them pick their flowers or trees, something like that. I don't know. I really like the picture of that and the thoughts of cute little old ladies coming up and asking you for help. I don't know why I thought that, but
Did the summary of your hope was giving grace
Yeah.
to others, and that was where you felt like you would find maybe the opportunity to plant your own flowers and trees? Is that after giving grace enough that would become a thing for you? Was that, or did you not get to that point in your story?
I didn't get there. Yeah, I don't know if I'll ever be able to plant my own garden or find any trees that fit, but I can help others build their gardens.
What did help me understand what like the blurred vision?
I really seem to, as I keep looking around at the world around me, things become less clear, not more clear. Things become more confusing. It's really, the world around me has gotten very blurry because of that. You know, not a lot makes sense.
Hard to understand.
Yeah. I just have to keep looking at my feet and making them move forward.
There's almost also a focus thing that happens when you're so hyper focused on yourself and in the world around you. The things outside of that scope are blurry. You just can't see them in their entirety because you're so distinctly focused on looking down or looking wherever it is that you're looking, that everything outside of that is.
I don't know if that answered your question at all.
I just finished a book that's well known called The Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. And the author talks about the ancient Greek philosophers thought of themselves as not facing forward towards the future because the future is blurry. They thought of themselves as looking backwards and the past is spreading out so they can see that and the future is sort of unknown and it's sort of coming over the top of them. Yeah. So it made me think of that a little bit.
You had a line in there where you said something like, "My intentions are strong, but I keep looking at my feet," or something.
My intentions are right, but most of my time spent walking is spent looking down.
I just think that's a really powerful line for how a lot of people have good intentions in this world, but don't look up.
Yeah.
Don't bring others into that scope.
Or act on them.
I think we miss a lot because we don't look around.
I hear lots of people have dreams or aspirations of wanting to help people or wanting to make a change, and then they just don't do anything. Keep looking down, or not looking at where they need to be, or helping those they need to be helping.
When those moments come at us, just in and day out life, sometimes, Mom and I have been through this where we're driving and we come up to a person that's got a sign that needs some help. And I think sometimes we want to roll down our window and give them something. And other times we maybe just don't have the means or the power in that moment to do it.
Yeah.
I think sometimes we judge that, well, why are they doing that? Is it real? And I think I actually told Dad that I wanted to start caring
less about that, more
what-
about your own intention behind it.
Yes, not caring what they're doing with the money,
Right.
because all I care is that I want to do something. And I told them I'm going to actually start carrying cash, because then I can choose if I want to give them $5, $20, some $1 bills. It doesn't matter
How it's
where they
spent,
go.
it's
It
the
matters
intention
that
you're sharing.
I want to do it. And I thought I'm going to start doing that because I don't want to judge any. We have given, but I would like to have it there so I can. Just something I was thinking about. So, okay, Peyton, do you want to? Everybody just be whoever
Popcorn.
goes next. You pick the next one.
Okay. Does anybody? No, I'm just kidding.
We went through that already.
I do that
We
every
already-
time I'm the picker.
Abby.
Me.
Abby.
I think Augie should read one.
I don't know if he's quite there yet.
Baby noises.
I just got a new rule for the mic. If you're not louder than Augie, you're not speaking loud enough.
Oh, okay.
Well, he definitely has something to say.
It's like I have to burp. Okay.
Perfect.
Okay. You guys have heard this one. It's one of the ones before that I've written, but I'm gonna continue it next week.
Before the podcast.
Yeah, so it hasn't been read here yet. Okay, it's called Simon. The stars are glimmering in the sky as I'm driving down a secluded road surrounded by farmland. I glance up to see if I can point out one of the only constellations I know, Orion. The radio was playing my favorite tunes when I do my little checkup of my car mirrors. A headlight behind me catches my attention. I checked over and over again, but every time I did, I became more confused. Why didn't I see two headlights, but only one? The car was catching up to me. Did they want to pass me? Am I going the right speed? I continue my eyes on the headlight as it got closer. Then suddenly it fades out. It's pitch black behind me. I had to double check to make sure it didn't go over a hill, but the road was completely flat with no mountains in sight. I kept riding, looking ahead, checking back, and the light fades into view. Maybe their lights are going out, I say to myself. The realization hits me that the car would have had to drive in the darkness without their lights on. This doesn't make sense, I say. I keep checking back and realize more about this mysterious car. Why can't I see the reflection of the road from the headlight? Why can't I see any other little yellow lights? The car light fades away again. This time I start to panic more. My speed slows down out of curiosity and distraction. The headlight fades back on, but even closer this time. I irrationally pull over with the hope that the car passes me, so I don't have to stress about it anymore. My heart starts to pound and my stomach sinks as I realize it wasn't a car behind me the whole time. What I thought was a headlight slowly rolled up to the side of my car, stopping and almost staring at me. What I saw was a perfect ball of light, floating in midair with no attachments in sight. I feel an unknown presence surrounding me, as if the orb is staring into my soul. I can't tell if it was a threat or not, but an uneasy feeling rushed over me. It felt as if something was going to catch me and pull me away at any moment. I quickly pull my phone out and start recording, as I decide the best decision is to speed away. As soon as I quickly drove away, the orb of light zoomed right after me, staying on my tail. I was coming up to the end of the road, a stop sign, and decided I had to slow down a little in order not to flip my car. My attention shifted to make the turn as I successfully made it. I was on a straight road again, and looking behind me, I watched as the orb of light stopped exactly at the end of the road. It was completely stationary as I drove farther away, losing sight of it in the distance. As I've looked back at this day and rewatched the video, I realized it was my first experience with him. The week after the orb incident, I was still in shock that something like that could ever happen to an ordinary girl like me. I told all my friends and family about the experience, making sure not to leave a detail out. The looks I got from them were all very similar. The yeah, sure, cool story type of look. They said they believed me, but I knew there was a side of them that thought I lost it. As the second week came around, I started to forget anything special happened to me and continued on with my life. I thought everything was behind me, but I was wrong. It was just the beginning. On the 10th day after seeing the orb, when it happened, I was minding my own business, getting ready for bed, and saying goodnight to my roommates. The roommate across from my tiny little attic room had her boyfriend staying over for the night. To give a little context about my upstairs living space, my room is right up by the stairs and is also attached to the attic through a little door. On the other side of the stairs, there's a bathroom with another door to the attic space. When my roommate and her boyfriend were in the room next door to the attic space door. Anyways, I had fallen asleep and started dreaming once I was all settled. In my dream, I had needed to use the bathroom. In past nights when I have needed to use the restroom, I usually sprint to the hallway's light switch to turn on the light and then go to the bathroom since I fear the dark. This is what I did in my dream. After using the restroom, I was getting myself prepared to quickly run out, turn the light off, and sprint to my room. I was all pumped up and swung the door, opened the bathroom door, and started running, when all of a sudden something grabbed me and pulled me back. Looking back, I saw a shadowed male figure pulling me into the open attic space door. Beginning to panic, I start to find a way out of his grasp, but screaming does nothing. Suddenly, I realize that I am dreaming and have control of my dream. Quickly, I lift my leg and drive into his crotch, which made him release and drop to the ground. I sprint as fast as I can to my room, which is glowing with light as if it's heaven. As soon as I make it into my room, I jolt awake. I'm breathing heavily, thinking about what I had just witnessed in my dream. I look at my phone and it's 4 a.m. That felt so real. I thought out loud. I kept telling myself that it was just a dream, but I couldn't get that feeling in my chest to go away. I finally fell back asleep that night. In the morning, I was getting my breakfast ready when my roommate and her boyfriend came downstairs. "Amy, I need to tell you about the dream I had last night." I told her as I gestured her to come over. I then proceeded to tell her my entire dream. I then noticed the look on her face as she goes a little pale. "I need to tell you what happened to us last night," she timidly said to me. Amy then proceeded to tell me that her boyfriend had woken up suddenly in the middle of the night, feeling like something was watching them sleep. He looked over towards the closet and couldn't believe what he was seeing. He then shook awake Amy, and they both looked in fear at the demon face staring back at them. After hearing the story, I realized my experience wasn't just a dream. It was the second time meeting him. The end.
Now, some of that was actually based on truth, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
2 separate true events.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with a little twist to
A
them,
little
but
twist.
yeah, that's crazy.
Was kicking the man in the crotch, was that
It was real.
real?
Yeah.
I mean,
I've
In her dream.
in my dream.
Oh, in
Yeah.
your dream?
Yeah, I have very vivid dreams, and I can control them. It's a superpower.
what's that called? What's controlling dreams called? What is that called?
Is it a thing?
Lucid dreaming.
Wait, that's really a thing?
Yeah, you can train yourself to control your.
I train
I
myself.
had one of those.
I mean, you don't fly to Mars in all your dreams. And you know, just,
Wow.
Do you really?
Wow.
like, oh, this dream about grandma's lame. Bringing some butterflies.
But the orb had to do when you were driving back from Aunt TV's, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Except we didn't stop.
You didn't. Yes, I would never have stopped. Oh my gosh, almighty. Okay. Who are you going to pick?
Pierce, you ready?
Sure.
Cheers.
Alright.
Cheers.
Okay. Well, I have 2 little versions of what I wrote. I don't really know which one to read, so I guess I'll just kind of decide now. One's exactly what came out of my mind, and the other one I put a little bit more into. So, yeah, I'm going to read one of those. Okay, it is called The Thrasher and the Thought. A carefree and curious bird finds himself in the most beautiful forest. Thoughts flow through his young mind. He's full of love, full of adventure, and kind. He flies through the many thoughts, dreams of his world, dreams of his future, dreams full of hope. Thoughts swirling around him like magic, they move fast. He reaches out with light in his heart to catch one. With a bright glimmer, he grabs a beautiful thought. Almost blinding him, it glows. This thought was full of wonder, like all the others he could catch at this time. These kind of thoughts kept his light strong. As he grew, the thought grew too. The thoughts grew too, faster and stronger with every passing day. On this one day, the thoughts were spinning, tumbling around, almost in a chaotic new formation. Not knowing what was different, he reaches out like the countless times before, feeling a positive and wonderful thought past the very tip of his talons. No, he misses. For once, his light dimmed, as he instead catches a thought he knew he never thought. He never knew he thought. He jumped inside at the feeling he had and found himself trying to rid his mind of it, rid himself of it entirely. Sticky like sap, it grew, like the oil of stinging nettle with every touch it transferred, covering not only his feathered body, but his soul. He desperately tried to let that thought go.
It's really good, Pierce.
As you, I don't know if you intended this, but as you were writing, as you were reading it, I kept having flashes of you as a kid, a really small kid. One particular memory is, I don't remember what we were doing. I was in the front seat, Dad was driving, and you and Sophie were in the back. And I remember watching you offer your French fries to Sophie, and unsuggested, just like coming from you naturally. And that's what came to my mind.
I just pictured him being free. Like he had so much joy as a little boy. And that's what I keep. This always gets me tender. I just pictured you playing and being innocent in your play. And then when you're talking about the sap getting to the bird, it's like something happened to you that changed that freedom, that freeness you had. That's kind of how I took it.
Yeah. I think it came from a place of not knowing how to control my thoughts and put them into words. But really it just was the power of our own thoughts. And even when we don't, in the moment, realize how powerful a thought may be, our future self might look back and realize that that thought was a defining moment.
Mm-hmm. Did you say that you caught a thought that wasn't yours?
The line, I kind of misread it. It was, for once his light dimmed as he instead catches a thought he never knew he thought.
Oh, okay.
There was so many times, Pierce, when you were growing as a young child, that I was amazed at your creativity and your imagination with color and with items and everything. You just came up with these names that were so creative. And you were just little, 2, 3, 4 years old, and you would come up with these creative, imaginative names for things. And I just love that about you.
And you made your brother mad because you called him Shasha instead of Jeff. I don't know why you called him Shasha.
Did that really make you mad?
as a
As a teenager,
as a
maybe?
stuck teenager that didn't have a lot of training and emotions, yeah, it made me really mad.
My favorite thing that Pierce did, I do have to say because it's perfect time, is when you read the Nancy Drew books and then your book report you wanted to do, and what, you were third grade, second grade?
Yeah, the third grade. I think,
Yeah.
something.
And he, for his book report, he wanted to write songs for his Nancy Drew books he wrote. I mean, that he read. So he actually wrote songs and went and did the piano for his book report from Nancy Drew.
How many songs?
I just picked the main characters, and each character had a different song.
That's awesome.
It was very awesome.
Yeah.
I think his teacher just couldn't believe it. Thank you, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you want to pick?
Jeff.
All right. This is an idea that's been bounced around in my head. And this is what came out. Been thinking a lot about gravity and my sweetheart. So,
Wow. Gravity and Sweetheart.
how long have we been dating? 22 years? Almost 23 years. 23 years in a couple months.
Wait, what are we? No, because aren't we, we're 20 years behind? Aren't we 20 or 17? I don't remember
No,
now.
he didn't say.
We're 40.
I said
He said date.
words matter. And I said, how long have we been dating?
We'd have to extend it.
Like 3 months.
Yeah. Not very long.
All right. Few things in life are certain. Like moments before biting into a wild apple or fishing a murky river. Will the apple taste sweet? Are there any fish here? I've learned of one thing for certain. From the moment I took my first breath, I have been falling and being pulled 100 million miles a second to the ubiquitous door of death. Not if, but when. Miracles are real because I am not falling in a vacuum, and Mother Earth is truly pulling me to her center. Watching a bowling ball and a feather dropped at the same moment in a vacuum is quite miraculous to behold. The bowling ball cannot beat the feather. With no force acting on either, they fall together. An odd pair falling at the same rate. Add a little air and poof, causing the feather to float and the ball to race past. Sorry. Add a little air and poof, an unseen force is there, causing the feather to float and the ball to race past. She is a force in my life. Like air rushing to fill a vacuum, a force acting, a thief of breath from my lungs, a shot of the sweetest candy to my heart, all offered naturally and with open arms. A type of parachute as a gift, not to prevent the fall, but an opportunity to hold hands and spin and dance towards the infinite together. But there be monsters here. They tell me I have 2 left feet, and I am too heavy for a tandem float. And I listen. For over 20 years, I believe in non-dancing, free-falling monsters. So I cut strings over and over again, snip, 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 not in an attempt to hurt, The monsters say it is the only way she will see the truth. That I can't dance, and I am dead weight that can only drown whosever neck I am around. She is a force in my life. She falls with a grace and empathy. She has a determination to catch up to my free falls after I cut strings. She is a seamstress, heat-seeking missile. She catches up and repairs strings, parachute strings and heartstrings. Her needles never dull, seem to never dull, and her string has no end. In a moment, I realize I am not a weight, but I have carried the weight of others' stories, stories of gold and magic and perfection. Have you ever tried to carry perfect magic gold? It is so heavy. Another force. In a moment, I use my scissor hand to cut the string attaching the burdensome gold, and not the strings she has repaired so many times. I'm still falling, but I muster my courage to actually fall with her. Her love, accepted, acts like pixie dust, helping me to float to a land of lost boys. She unknowingly offers me the eyes to see what I really was and am and will be. Just a boy, nothing more, nothing less. We are still falling. She has more of me now, and I can't think of a better place to gather all my pieces to be whole. As I fall towards death's door, holding her hands, dancing in the sky, she is still the thief of my breath. And the taste of her sweetness still pumps life into my heart as we fall together.
That was beautiful. That was really beautiful.
I love the. I love turning. I love that in this world that's created, like, love is a force of nature as much as gravity, or more so, and it has the ability to interact with in a nice synchronizing way. Or you sometimes in life you fall out of that natural tug that's happening. You fight against it, and you try to slow it down, or you try to do things to manipulate the free fall that we're all in. But inevitably, if you just get comfortable with the fact that it's natural and it's a dance and you can be a part of it or fight against it.
I just loved your description of kind of what you went through with, I'm assuming, the story of meeting Henri and how you felt, and just your bound on yourself with the, well, there's a few things. The thoughts go 20 miles an hour, but you talked about the rocket and the needles putting things back together, and I don't know, I just loved your descriptions of things, because you talked about yourself being so heavy, but as you've come to some discoveries of changing your life and letting go of some things, you've become freer and still have this great dance that you two do. And now you'll be doing it. You don't have to worry about something else. You're doing it together. There isn't something holding you back, making you heavier. I don't know exactly what you were feeling, but I don't know. There was just I could just picture so much in there with what you wrote.
Or even not necessarily heavier, but giving you more resistance against the natural fall. Like that parachuting effect of trying to pull it back, but instead of just embracing the fall.
I'm glad that you're not trying to carry around magic gold anymore.
Super
It's heavy.
That force is one that
Super
Heavy.
one that, when dealt with, can really knock things in ways they're not supposed to go.
I really felt that through your description of falling toward the ubiquitous door of death together, that the description of value in your relationship coming from you towards Annalie, through thick and thin, through struggles and joy, her value was there throughout the whole journey in that description. I thought that was really beautiful. Really beautiful.
Yep. She's always been there.
Hoping you want it.
We
I
So I
am
was trying to like
lucky man.
figure out the string part was like not was the was I mending the string connecting us or like what? You don't know.
I don't know.
It did sound like that you took the needles. That's the way I took it. But
I was
like,
just wondering where the strings were connected to.
I think.
Just let it paint whatever picture it does in your head.
Which would
I did
be
say
great.
I did have a line in there that said, I don't remember, a healer of parachute strings and heartstrings or something like that.
And didn't you have a line about a seamstress?
Yeah,
I liked it a lot.
And that's what a seamstress does.
she catches up to me in my free falls like a seamstress heat-seeking missile.
I like
Yeah. And then you went on to describe something. I don't know. It was really
It
good.
was very, very good.
And you made everybody cry. So it's good.
Okay,
Who are you picking?
Jeremy.
He has little writing on there.
What was that?
I said, that's little writing. How do you see that? Your
His
eyes must be
eyes.
good.
So this is called The Man and the Oak. I have two, by the way. The second one's a little quicker, so. This is called The Man and the Oak.
Didn't we just discuss that?
'Twas a fork in the road, come across by a man, but an ordinary fork it was not. Neither was it an ordinary man, for there's no such thing as ordinary. Many paths there to pick, but only at one time there were two. In the center stood a signpost. Said the signpost to the man, "This is life's paths. A single direction must you choose. All the same, yet all the difference. You will win, you will lose." He took the unmade road that was yet made just for him. It seemed so bright and cheery, yet only at a glance. You'd have to travel his road. You'd have to dance his dance. But why would you? It's his road. It isn't yours. He strives to focus on his footsteps. One after another, they're placed along the path. The path chosen was hard, yet easy to others who knew not the road which he traveled. Neither did he know theirs, for he wanted not after it. Yes, some stones and landmarks are similar to those on the paths of others, yet he sees a different picturescape than they. Though others traveled their paths, traveling his, he felt alone. The scene was great. The sun was shining, the birds singing, the steady rhythm of his padding feet. However glorious it was, so it was not. The sun, though shining, was dull, leaving the path dark and treacherous. The beautiful song of the birds was broken and out of tune, and his footsteps, though steady, faltered. The rhythm was cracked, yet whole. This is not what he wanted, yet it was so. He tried unceasingly to change it. All of his efforts went unseen to others. They couldn't see what he saw, though it was there in plain sight. They wouldn't believe him, couldn't understand him, so he chose to walk on alone. There were others, yes, but he filtered himself out to be alone. For many years he did so, and others wondered why. They couldn't understand his suffering or couldn't hear his cry. Still he walked on until he came across one who had given up along their path.
The bones were bleached, broken, and scattered. The man paused, and tears streamed down his delicate features. From somewhere among the bones, he saw his own reflection. He wrenched his eyes from the horrid boneyard, lest he lie down and join them. As on he trudged, the bones whispered his name tauntingly, almost teasing in their efforts to lure him back, away from his path, toward certain destruction. Ever so hard to ignore was the deafening silence. Wait. What was that shimmering in the distance? What could lurk in this full barren place? There again, a disturbance in the air, a flash of splendid gold. In earnest he trudged on faster, eager to see the vast terror in his blandness. Faster and faster he climbs a hill and he sees an oak, a simple tree. Many forests had he happened across, so a mere tree showed no splendor or uniqueness, except that this tree mirrored him in solitude. Whereas all the other trees he saw were grouped together, this one stood alone. So, curious, he approached it, reached out his hand to touch it. Snap! A jolt of overwhelming power and energy welled up and out of the tree, ran its course through his body. This jolt of life, of understanding, wisdom, love. The tree lives and has a tail, just as does everything around us. It speaks, as though by a man's voice, yet with the essence of the beating of a songbird's wings, as the sky, reaching fervently for the earth, to touch her, to caress her, to love her. Says the oak to the man, take a rest beneath my boughs. It has long since been that one has come to lie at my side in the shade. The man, uncertain and afraid, backs away. No, wait, says the majestic giant. Climb up my branches. Never before had I someone with which to share the view. I've always been alone, please. Replies the man to the oak, but you'll fall and hurt yourself, the others would say. To which the oak manifests, they preach of what they know not. We've been given a life to live. There are pathways, yes, but you must discover and set them yourself. Thank you, says the man in humble adoration as he climbs to the very top. And what an amazing sight did meet him. Everything was bathed in a wonderful glow. There was brightness. It came from the sun. The bird song, how precious! It melded with the glorious music of countless others who traveled their paths. The glory was heightened as he saw the many paths yet to take, and those already taken. He could see others like him, and with this he willed that they not feel alone. It is then that he realizes the effects of his great and long journey. He is tired and hopeful, so he sleeps, and he dreams and is happy. He continues now to sleep and only waits to be woken. Time wears on. Many pass the man in the oak, but few stop to ponder the splendor of it. It being life, they are blessed.
Awesome.
When did you write that?
So that was actually you brought all this up, and I've been listening to the podcast and stuff, and I reflected on how I used to use writing as a way to deal with my pain and my
An outlet.
yeah. It was a great outlet to like externalize the feelings in a metaphorical way. Like, it didn't need to be understood by anybody else, or it was just ways to express myself. So I literally wrote this half of my life ago when I was 16 and discovering who I was and how I was and losing my own faith and finding, the different parts of myself.
What I love is that you you had these different paths to take, and you were probably told in your life what paths you should take, but that the in the story you were journeying along, and then you saw that there was something to love. Somehow you felt something with the oak, and I mean, this is my vision of it, and that we all have a story, and none of us know each other's stories.
But we're all a part of everyone's story. Even
But that you didn't miss what this oak had to offer, and that it was beautiful. And then people had warned you, no, but I don't know,
Beautiful
the whole
and
thing.
safe.
I just love I don't know. I really liked it, Jeremy.
I just could see this man traveling along this path, and there being doubts and confusion and despair and loneliness, and this beautiful awakening or awareness with the oak tree of very simply life. And that was just the way that you described that awakening or that coming to the oak was beautiful. It's beautiful.
Well, so that one, I wanted to share like how writing has helped me and some of my stuff. But this one I wrote specifically for tonight because I didn't know what the heck to write. I'm a performer, I'm an artist, and I thought, yeah, I can pick this back up and be creative and clever again. But it was really hard. I was like, being purposefully creative gets tough at times, and you want to get out what's in your brain, but this is what came out. In thinking about what to write and how words work and stuff. So this is called Sunday Writing. All the alphabet aims to alleviate apathy. It administers aid with amazing abandon, admonishes avoiding adventure, allowing us to arrive abruptly amongst awareness and alertness. It begets banishing brazen beasts by brandishing better beauty and boldly blossoming bounty before carefully considering creatures constantly in contest, craftily creating communities cast in calculated contempt and confusion, consistently canonizing conflict and deliberately diminishing daring direction to deal death to distinguished distinction, despite everyone evading everlasting emotion and enduring enough endless existence, even in eliciting every enriching endeavor, and fearlessly fighting the unfathomable feeling to float as a phantom, frantically fighting for fairness and fandom. Graciously gathering guaranteed goodness and gasping at the gaining of gravity and the gaps growing in going to a guaranteed grave. It can harm and harness helpful hands holding hope that heavenly harmony happens, or illuminate images of intense imagination and internalize instances of isolated intention for joy and jubilation. It justifies jealousy, just keeping kings keeling kingdoms by killing kindness. It leaves us living life, losing lust, laughing long, laying low, learning lessons, listening lovingly, lamenting in the loss of making moments matter most. We move mountains to map morals, never knowing the nature of navigating nowhere, only occasionally original in order to openly or positively perform as a proper performer. We ponder pathetic pathways, not practicing patience, or quickly quash the quiet questioning of the queerness of riveting rivers, revealing the righteous reforming and ravenous rounding of the rest of reality. Supposing such sentiments slander the source of the sun, sapping surely its surroundings, safely supporting and showing sincerity soundly. Time teaches with totality, the treacherous trek that thoughtlessness and thanklessness take us towards. Try to turn into a tapestry the underlying undulation of the universe, understanding the unending variety of valuable variables that are vivacious and varied. Work willingly to widen the world with wonder and wipe away worries and woe. What a wonderful way to experience your yearnings at zero.
Now you need to wrap it.
I thought of that every now and then.
You covered the whole scale.
All the whole
Dad smiled.
I was smiling
'Cause
throughout
every word was
every
used.
word of that. That was awesome.
You know a lot about writing. Is there a word for that type of poetry?
I would just say, I don't know, free form, or because every now and then you pop in like some little rhymes, and most of the time it's about the rhythm.
But I'm
as
saying the
opposed
way
to,
that you used the same words.
Oh, at the beginning, it's
yeah.
about the beginning of
Yeah.
the sound
Is
of the
there-
words.
is
Even
there a
like
name for
N,
that?
you use knowledge,
Yeah.
and I want to say it's like alliteration, or it's one of those things where there is a specific term. I wish I could remember it on the spot.
Alliteration is the repetition of consonants.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Could you reread the T's? I really liked.
It's the easiest finding ever.
I know exactly.
I was able to categorize things very easily.
Let's see. Time teaches with totality the treacherous trek that thoughtlessness and thanklessness take us towards.
Yeah, I thought that was an incredible line. It really did. That idea of thoughtlessness bringing you to a place that
It's like it's a journey.
it's a place that you really don't want to be, and thanklessness, being ungrateful for where you are, or where you can go. I don't know, all of it. It was very good.
Yeah, your talent for words I've always loved, where you challenge people to expand their view. It's very cool to see you write it out.
I feel like you must be Dad's chat. Somehow.
There's no hobnobbing going on here with my husband.
You even like blue cheese.
Yeah, must be long lost. Well, thanks so much. Happy to share. Look forward to sharing more in the future.
Oh, so fun. All
Happy,
right.
your turn.
Oh, my turn after that. Oh, by golly.
Oh, by golly.
Kiss Molly.
Poppyism.
Oh,
Yeah, no undercutting yourself.
Oh, boy. Everybody just is so awesome, the way they write and the descriptions they have. And, I just kind of word vomit and throw things out of my head.
That's a type of.
That's very
It is?
descriptive.
Thank goodness
That's very
for
descriptive.
word vomiting. All right. So I'll ask for forgiveness now because I don't know how this will all come together because I was told to share this. So I kind of had problem where I was writing things that didn't quite go together. So I just taped them on the back and hopefully it will all work because that's just the way it happened. Anyways, okay. Okay, so for some, when we first started, I think this was maybe the third one I wrote. And as I wasn't going to do this tonight, I had two different ones I started, one on differences and one on something with love. I don't remember now, but I came back to this one, and when I started writing it out, it just became more. So here we go. I must be the crazy one. When I was little, my mom would say to my siblings, "Let her win or she will cry." When I was 5, I had my first sleepover at the neighbor's house. We watched the Dracula movie. It was terrifying. A couple of weeks later, I had a dream that I rode my bike into the cul-de-sac and my garage was open. I saw my dad walking out. And then behind the car walked out another person that looked just like my dad. They both called to me to come to them. I didn't know who to choose. If I choose wrong, I would die. I must be the crazy one. After that, my dad had to get up a lot at night to turn on a bathroom light because I was too scared to go to the bathroom without a light on. If I had done something wrong that really made my mom angry, she would spank me with a hairbrush. I remember running from her and even diving over my bed so she wouldn't spank me. I think I was about 8 or 9 when my mom decided to go back to work. I hated going home after school with no one home. I would sit and stare out the windows of my living room and wait for someone to come home. I must be the crazy one. I was very shy and didn't like going to school from 2nd grade to 5th grade. I remember in 3rd grade specifically having stomach aches all the time. I was afraid to leave the teacher in the classroom and go out to play on the playground. One of the reasons I remember being afraid of was the principal. He always came looking for me. In 6th grade, I went to a school dance. I remember having to hide from him. I must be the crazy one. We went to church when my mom and dad liked to pastor. We went on an Easter hike with my family to the top of a mountain to hear the pastor speak as the sun came up. I keep wondering about so much. Junior high, I was finding my footing, acting in a couple of plays, making more friends, having so much fun. I even tried out for a play where I would have to sing. Having my first crush, I got to be walked home from school by a boy named Danny. I had my first kiss by a boy named John. Well, that was nothing like I expected. It was not like the movies at all. Why did he use his tongue? Yuck. I must be the crazy one. I have always believed in God as long as I can remember. I wondered about Jesus. One of the most favorite memories was getting to read about Jesus' birth at Christmas time out of our family Bible. Moving to new places, it was really hard to leave all of my friends. Getting to swim every day that summer. Watching the movie Grease 5 times. I loved it. Scared and nervous to go to the first day of high school. Spending forever to blow dry my hair with a feather look. So much hairspray. Please, please don't make me walk to the bus in the fog. My hair will go curly. I must be the crazy one. I was often at home a lot. I never felt quite good enough. Listening to records in my room, the band Styx, the song Babe. Would I ever feel that way? I loved wearing a necklace with a cross on it. Moving again. So many changes. Wanting to take a look at my life. I don't want to party anymore. Stepping back. I'm just sitting back and watching more and drinking my tab. I must be the crazy one. I'm feeling like there must be so much more. I don't like the chaos going on in my family. My senior year, my dad was very angry, and he told me he wished I was never born. Why am I not good enough for him? I need to leave, but I can't. I'm searching for something better, or maybe different. I went with my friends to church. I went with my cousin to a youth group. Please let me be different than my family. I thought I found the truth. I thought I had something that was all mine. I was finally okay. I found a church. I was baptized. I felt great. I was told I couldn't wear my necklace with the cross on it anymore because the new church didn't use symbols of the cross. I was so very sad. I was walking down the hall in my senior year of school. and I was grabbed on both sides of my shoulders and stopped. He pulled me back. He pulled my shoulders back and came closer, saying, because you chose to be baptized into that church, I would be going to hell. I thought for a moment, maybe I really am the crazy one.
I hope you continue writing that. There's more to that story, right?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, there's a lot more.
Yeah.
That was up until what, you were 19?
Yeah, that was 17. I mean,
17.
my senior year. Yeah.
It made me think about how, and this isn't an insult, and I think I write a lot like you actually. The lines are really simple.
Mm.
There's even though the words are simple, the lines are simple. There's a lot in those words. There's a big story in each line. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was cool to listen to. I was just listening to that, and I could stop you and dissect each of those lines, and there's a lot.
I would
there.
be a good therapy patient.
Yeah, you would.
I thought it was wonderful how you expressed as you grew older, and maybe wonderful is the wrong word, but very telling to me that throughout your life you wondered in the way that you felt and experienced things and saw things happening in front of you, that why do I feel like I'm the crazy one, when you were just going through life in wanting to be a normal girl in a normal family in a normal situation, and you felt like you were crazy with everything that kind of hit you in that process.
I think in writing, in doing this podcast, well, in starting the writing that we have, it's made me think a lot about like how we kind of came to where our little family started. And this was a huge part of, I wanted to be so different than what I was seeing in my family. Not that my parents were bad, or everybody was choosing different things. My parents lived a kind of selfish life with me growing up. And I felt like my sister got a lot of attention. I felt like my brother was kind of the star of the show. And it's just been interesting writing it. It's just been interesting thinking about, for sure. This just kind of, like I said, it was going another direction. And then, anyways. Okay. Who hasn't read?
I have it,
Yeah,
and
Annalie.
Annalie has it.
Okay.
I do have a question though.
Yes.
Is that where you ended it the first time?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
She just added a few things in there.
Right. I just thought you continued on.
I
farther
did
than
it
that, but-
because if I went on further, from that, how old am I?
Yeah.
I'm turning 60, so there's probably a few more things that might make me feel crazy.
No, there is. I mean, not a
And-
might.
Yeah.
There
And
is.
so I think it's so interesting to me, because to be told by somebody that you're going to hell because you joined a church, I don't think anyone should ever be told. I think people should be allowed to believe in as they might, as long as they're not harmful to people. And I just think as we've gotten older, it's just really interesting the different way I feel about things. And like with Grandpa's funeral, everybody said, thank goodness he's baptized. And to me, I was thinking, that doesn't matter. God's going to love him anyways. To me, that was what was important, that I knew something greater was welcoming him to heaven. And so, I don't know, life's just been an interesting journey. So one day maybe I will continue this
I
one.
think it's to that point. I think it's one of the toxic things that comes out of religion in general is this othering that we do when we think we have the truth. We other everybody else.
Yeah.
And at least I did when I was in that space. And I think it makes it really easy to other people.
Well, it's interesting
Put
because
people in boxes.
the young man who did that to me, he was completely. I don't even remember what church he did.
Christian sect, I'm sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was.
Was that Michael's friend?
It was an old boyfriend of
An
mine.
old boyfriend.
Yep.
Michael never
Oh, I
approached you
don't
that
think-
way,
No, I don't know that Michael loved that I
right?
had join the church I did, but we never had that kind of discussion that I can remember. And my aunt and grandma and family were all very kind to me for letting me do what I did.
They
and
didn't
join the
ostracize you or anything.
They did not in any way. In fact, my parents, because I grew up in an alcoholic family, or grandparents both alcoholics, my dad didn't drink too heavily, but he would often go pick up my grandfather in prison in San Francisco. That was a big fight between my parents. And I think that because I joined a church that promoted no drinking and that kind of thing, I think they were actually thrilled that I went that direction, because they felt like that would be good for me. So anyways, okay.
Because you with alcohol is just not a good idea.
Well, probably not, because
I'm still down.
You don't need.
I can't even
You don't
speak.
need it.
No.
I don't think
The
you
problem
need
is-
see her.
I don't think she
One
needs it.
time.
No, the problem is I can't speak as it is, so you put alcohol
not
with
worried
that, and that
about
would not be good.
A big,
No.
a wine night all together.
a wine-
The best night of my life.
Oh my
But that like feeds something inside of you.
It'd just be so funny. The conversations, I'm sure, would be
It
awesome.
would be. It'd be
I
awesome.
think it would be too.
Okay.
Well, let's
Annalie, are you? Is it a good time with the baby?
That's fine.
Okay, and is that for me, the monitor?
Will you flip
Yes,
on the light
it
too?
is.
Yeah,
Okay.
I just was gonna say that.
Yeah.
I didn't know so.
She said the color. She doesn't go see.
Okay.
There was our dogs something.
Oh,
There
He didn't
was
hear
our
my
dog
story.
something.
No,
You
they
would've
were
loved it.
little ones were yelling at our dogs, and I didn't want them to have to worry about it. So, Jeremy went.
He'll be able to hear it on that podcast.
Sorry.
no, that's okay.
Little ones meaning.
It's okay. They're gonna
Ellie
come back, so
was
it's
yelling
fine.
at them.
Ellie has a strong voice.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah.
I wonder if we could hear that. Because
I
if we can, I'm gonna amplify it.
I couldn't hear it.
I didn't hear it.
I didn't hear it when I was reading.
Careful, what comes out of her mouth.
Yeah. Okay. So I've had a lot of thoughts about what I could be writing about, and one thing, or some things that I think would be cool for me, instead of journaling things, just writing bits and pieces of my life so that they don't get forgotten, kind of thing.
Like
So-
in a story format.
yeah. So this was like a trial of one. Okay. It also was, I was trying to make it yet last week's, but it didn't work out. So
The color blue was not mentioned.
right. So it didn't work. Little footsteps. This one is called Coffee with Grandpa. I opened my eyes to the early morning sun shining through the window. I lay there trying to let my body wake from a well-needed sleep. Seconds go by and a familiar clicking echoed from downstairs. Grandpa's awake and trying to figure out the gate. We had to start locking it because he locking it because he wanders up and down the house checking TVs and lights all hours of the night. He didn't want any risk of electrical fires caused by anything plugged in. I slowly slide my feet out from under the covers, off the bed and onto the floor. As I sit up, there is more clicking. I leave my sleeping husband past my slumbering children in the next room and descend the stairs. I arrive at the bottom and see a shadow of a man. Well, this is going to be harder than I thought.
a shadow of a man I once knew. Over the past few months, he had lost 40 pounds. He was mostly skin and bones now, in his 87th year. He smiled at me and said, "Hi, doll. Help me with these, will you?" He was trying to pull his pants up, but only made it halfway. As if dementia wasn't... I can't see through my tears. As if dementia wasn't enough to battle. His body was eating his muscles at an accelerated rate, and his fingers didn't have the strength to pull his pants up. I smiled back at him and replied, "No problem." I opened the gate and help him pull up his pants. "Thank you," he says, out of breath with a tired smile. "Is there coffee?" I smile and reply, "Yes, I will get you some. Can I help you find your shirt and socks too?" With an excitement, he nods. I don't know where they went to. This is, I guess, more tender than I thought. Goodness. I walk to the bedroom and look to where we leave them on the nightstand. They have been moved. I search the bathroom and turn the closet light on. I find them next to the sink. I hear a growl from the bed. "Turn that light off." I quickly grab his clothes and turn the light off. I say, "Good morning," to Grandma, and she ignores me. I keep walking to the living room to find Grandpa frustrating the remote with button pushing. He looks up at me and exclaims, "It isn't working." I turn to look at the plug and see the cord unplugged from the wall and the TV and laying on the floor again. "Okay, I'll figure it out. Let's put these on first," I answer. I help him with his shirt, noticing his hands. His fingers don't contract anymore, and he uses his palms as much as he can. We get his shirt on, and then I slip on each sock. I go fix the cord to the TV, reminding him he doesn't need to unplug it, hoping it might sink in, but knowing it won't. I turn the TV on to the news and head to the kitchen for his coffee and some cereal. The house is still quiet with everyone attempting to stay asleep. I bring him coffee black and hot. I'm amazed he can swallow it when it is like that. He asks me to sit with him. I pull up a chair across from him. We look out the window next to us. He says, "It is beautiful here, but I think it's time to go home." "Where is that?" I ask. Or "Where is home?" I ask. He replies, "Oregon." He hasn't lived there for many decades. I say, "It is beautiful there. We will miss you. Are you sure you can't stay longer?" I have learned to come up with responses, not correcting him, but going with where his mind takes him. The confusion is heartbreaking to watch when he just can't make sense of the reality we describe. He pauses and replies, "We don't want to overstay our welcome." "Oh, you're not," I reassure him. "We love having you here and want you to stay longer." He ponders for a few moments and replies, "Well, maybe a few more days." "Can I get some more coffee?" I go and top off his coffee, not too much more though. Too much coffee and things start to run away from him, and we have learned that lesson a few times. We talk about how different the world is from when he was young. When I was a boy, we would go out in the morning and not come back until dark. We didn't have balls to play with, only rocks. He would tell me the same stories now. In his previous years, he was an intriguing conversationalist. He was always sharing things he learned experienced or what he had read. He told me of when he was young and how his father drank. Good thing I was quick, he would add. I love that his sense of humor is still present. He then says, I need my phone in a panic. I need to call someone at work to tell them I'm not coming today. I reassure him, oh, don't worry about that. They know you're not coming today. Relief spreads over his face, and I pick up the dishes and take them to the kitchen. I start doing the dishes from the night before, and I hear a shuffle and look to see Grandpa slowly walking towards me. He greets me with, good morning. Do you have coffee? I smile and say, you already had 2 cups this morning. I did? He says, surprised. Yes, but I can get you some juice. He nods and I pour him some. He sits and drinks it in one gulp, it seems. Can we turn on the news? I reply, it's on in the front room. Really? He says. Yes, I smile. He gets up and slowly shuffles back to the TV. In this moment, I am grateful to be with him. It is a good way to start the day. Creating moments with him, I will forever cherish. The memories are all I have. Are all I will have.
Now we have that. That's awesome. Thanks, Solomon.
That made me just go back to those moments when he was failing, and it just brought back the imagery of Grandpa and your care of him, and that was beautiful. Very beautiful. Yeah.
Quick break.
just carry him over. It's fine, Jenny.
She wasn't the loudest breather in the world, maybe.
Yeah, I love that story. I thought it just reminded me of my grandpa. Every time I get in my car, I think of him. Every time I have a cup of coffee.
He is missed.
I just remember when we moved him upstairs and we made the gate, and you and Jeff would sit with me because it took 4 hours to make him stay in bed.
I'm going to write another story about that.
Oh my gosh. Oh my
I
god.
wish Sam was here to tell his story.
Oh, I want Sam to tell that story.
of the zombie.
Let's have Sam write that because that was funny.
Him tapping the TV.
Yeah.
That was really funny.
Sam trying to be still. I have lots of times where I would go help Grandpa pull his pants up because Grandma was yelling at him. Don't go ask anybody. No, it's embarrassing.
She would just yell at him
It
and
was
have him
hard
leave.
there at
She got
the
quite
end.
abusive, I think, at the end.
Yeah,
She just didn't understand.
No.
that
I think she
couldn't
was
do
scared.
that.
A lot of fear.
Well, her mind didn't work
That a lot.
right at all. And so that's a really difficult thing when your mind, she didn't even recognize them anymore.
That man, she would say.
Yeah, she called him that man.
And then she would look at Dad lovingly.
She loved Dad. She would have married Dad. Dad could have left for an 86-year-old woman.
That would make for a strange story.
That would.
Someone should write that story. Grandma's fantasy.
Maybe I will.
Maybe I will.
It's
so funny.
Maybe I'm the only one that could.
No, let's
touch
not.
it.
You wrote that perfectly, though, Amelie.
Very,
It
very
was
good.
like, I often forget. You made it really wonderful. I think I had a lot of frustration for part of that time, for sure. Like before you guys came and when you guys first came, I definitely was more frustrated with everything because it was hard. And you talking about that made it just really sweet. It's very sweet.
Well, I mean,
Maybe,
I'm sorry.
no, you're okay. Made me have a thought that I've had a thought for a while now, just that we leave impressions without knowing it. And I think, like, after Grandma and Grandpa passed, I realized the impressions they had left on others. Because I knew what they had left on me, but I think we all do that.
We don't know what we do. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's very true. And oftentimes we feel alone. And if you could realize how you affected people or how people were affected by you, then you probably wouldn't feel so alone.
That's really true. I watched a movie. What was that movie? Oh my gosh. Now I can't remember
Jules?
because I do this every time. No, it was not Jules. It's a good movie.
Yeah.
No, it was about in the story, the mom had terminal cancer, and she decided to do her wake before she died because she wanted to be able to see what they were going to say. And so she embraced.
Her what?
Oh, it's called a wake.
It's a form of.
It's like a
service
like a
after.
yeah.
It's
Instead
like
of doing
not
a funeral,
funeral, yeah,
kind
not a
of,
celebration of
yeah.
life. It's like another form.
I don't know if that's what the Catholic Church. I can't remember who called it a wake, but that was what they did. They embraced it. They all wore. It was awesome.
Instead of a death, it's a wake.
No.
You
I
are one funny guy.
I could look at the definition of a wake if you want to, but I'm not sure. But it was cool because she loves Shakespeare, so everybody had to come in Shakespeare stuff, and they all had to sing or talk or read a poem or do whatever they did about her, and she got to be a part of it. I just thought that was kind of a really interesting. I know it was a movie on Netflix.
Oh,
It was the one where they
yeah.
met at the airport.
Yeah,
It was really
it's a
cute.
love story.
It was actually a very cute story.
It was really cute.
I don't remember what it's called. Netflix movie, very good. But
Netflix movie, very good.
There you go.
Netflix movie,
It was like
very
a
good.
rom-com.
it was a rom-com. It was like last year, I think it came out. But it was so cute. I'd never seen it.
Oh yeah, I know exactly. What
It was very cute. In fact, I thought Dad would like it with me.
I couldn't stop thinking because you said this is what you're going to do for journaling instead of just journaling. What better way is there to write down what's gone on in your life than this? Really,
I think, yeah, I agree.
Well, it's so sweet. What a sweet way to
Well, I
be
don't want those,
remembered or-
like, those are very tender, obviously, moments that I had. And I want people to know him. I want them to remember him. And, like, I mean, there's lots of moments that I didn't have, with him. I only knew him for 20 years. But
That was a long time.
But I tried to portray him like he didn't lose his sense of humor. He was, even when he literally would walk around with his hands like
couldn't
this.
move them.
And
he should have been
still
walking.
had like a love of life, and he wanted to be with people. He loved it, and
Still curious.
yeah,
If
and-
there was someone new in the house, boy, that person had to sit and listen to his stories, and he had to find out their stories.
yeah.
Always. It didn't matter. In fact, I think it was only a few weeks before he died. Esri had come with a boyfriend, and Grandpa sat like right between them and was like asking questions. It was so funny.
Yeah.
He was cute.
So I think it's definitely a good way to, and that way I have lots to write about.
you do an infinite amount.
Well, you guys are going to have crazy stories about us, so that'll be...
I don't know if I'll be able to write them as well as like Jeff writes.
No, yours
About-
is so
He's
good.
written like multiple things about me, and I have attempted to write things, and it just doesn't come out as smoothly. So hopefully one of
I'm
these
an
times.
anomaly, so
Yeah, but your writing on Lee, you do so well. It's so sweet. Isn't her writing sweet?
Yep.
Like there's something sweet.
writes about bunnies. Warms
But-
my
And
heart.
chickens.
She's not the number one son, so
It can never be that.
I don't know.
sweet.
Yeah, you
What?
can't be that sweet.
All right,
She's married to him now.
Dad.
right.
We get to finish with Dad. Woohoo!
Jeremy.
Did you still want that light on?
The backlight?
No, this light.
This line.
Yeah. Did nobody
Oh,
turn
we
it on?
forgot to turn it on.
Oh. My brain thought that we turned it on.
It's all right.
Didn't ask you to turn on. You said yes.
I thought you did. Did you?
Oh, so we've been dark the whole time?
Well, it's not the biggest problem because we still have lights, but yeah,
Oh.
we should turn it on.
Oh, we're getting a prop.
Yeah, now turn on that one.
Yeah, but I think we've done it the whole way. Now we just screwed everybody up because they're going to think,
No,
what
we
happened
didn't.
to the light?
No, it's
It'll
okay.
be a moment. This is not that intense.
We need this one.
Yeah, we need. Oh,
Yes, thank you.
Is the lighting going to be okay?
I was
gonna be
never
great.
asked to.
Okay, but no one can see that picture. Let's put it
I'm
over
sorry.
here.
Maybe I did it in my
No,
brain.
let's put it on this
Just
side.
hold it. Just hold it.
Here, I'll do it. Right here. We'll put it right here.
Why don't you just show it after you're done reading?
That's fine.
Okay.
Well, don't you think? Because
No, it's okay.
okay, I think we should show the picture. Here.
We don't have enough space.
Right here.
It won't be
There's
shown.
no-
It's
they
going to
can't.
be on him the whole time.
I really,
Show it first, then. Sorry.
Let's show it after.
I mean, it's just a prop, you know.
Yeah, but that's a cool thing. We were once young.
And I have to agree again with Annalie, because when we started doing this podcast, one of the things that came to me was I can now share my life history in a way that I thought 2 or 3 years ago would be kind of boring, you know, just to write memories down in a journal. But to do it in a story form or in a poetic form, it gave, for me, and I think maybe for Annalie too, it gave life to that, accomplishing that journaling. And so when I went into this week from the last podcast, wondering what I was going to write about, I really drew a blank in my mind. And I think you said something to me.
I said right about how we met.
And when you said that, I thought, Poppy's going to host this broadcast. Why not? That's a wonderful opportunity to write about how we met.
You didn't need this prop. You had her the whole time.
I know, but I had no place to
What?
put
Put me
her.
She was at the beginning. She was
I guess I could put you in that rocker.
I need to change
right
that
there.
beginning. I spoke of and a lot.
Of Anne? Who's Anne?
Who's Anne?
And I said and a lot.
did?
I
did?
felt like I said it in my brain.
You felt like you did.
Yeah.
You
And I was
really
like,
must
I
be the
can't,
crazy one.
I can't stop it. Like I couldn't stop it.
Stop and dig it.
That's what it felt like. It was so silly.
No, the only thing you were doing was playing with your bracelets.
I was nervous. I'll get better at the hosting gig.
There's no jingly bracelets.
Just don't wear that.
I only have one. That's it.
That's what?
You
That's
work
one
today?
bracelet?
Yeah, I thought it was cute. Dad, did you do what I did?
Yes. Yes.
2 pieces of pie.
Shoot, you lost part of the
Well,
story?
yes.
We've had more-
Just
we've had
give me
more
a
mess ups
second.
than we have usually.
Well, all right, we just have to
Today.
keep talking. Then Dad has messed up his. Well, no, I put mine together before I did it, though. I think it went together. Did it sound like something was ajar in there?
No, not at all.
Okay,
A jar?
good.
Does it sound like something was a jar?
Isn't that the right word? Isn't that,
That's a
is that the
word.
right word?
Yes.
It's a word.
Is it not?
I don't know if it
Like
fits.
a
Fits.
Okay.
No, a jar is
Jar
good.
is open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something was a jar.
Isn't a
That means
jar also,
something.
like, out
Look
of
it
place?
up, people. Look it up.
A miss.
No,
Yeah,
I'm going
a
to
jar.
stick with a jar.
I think
Jerry.
Dad found his place. He's no
Oh.
longer a jar.
I may not be no longer a jar, but I am and have constantly been throughout my 40 years of life with this woman.
Okay.
Why? Wait.
The name of my piece is Crazy in Love.
Oh wow! I must be crazy and crazy in love. We were on the same tune.
I am absolutely crazy. I laugh to myself as beneath my BYU baseball cap, my broad smile shows the truth of this insane string of thought. All that has consumed my every waking moment and filled my dreams at night is her. I stick my thumb out further beyond my blue ski jacket sleeve and continue to walk down the I-15 on-ramp, heading north, 800 miles north, in December, in a snowstorm, in a delirium, intoxicated by love, driven to a state of madness in missing her. Why, I say to myself, for love? What do I know about love? I'm just a 21-year-old, a hopeless romantic. My mind questions my ignorant youthfulness. With nothing more than the clothes on my back, a black backpack with a few snacks and a bottle of water, and my wallet. That's weird, I think to myself. My wallet doesn't provide me any protection from this wintry, spur-of-the-moment, insanely crazy jaunt across the country other than the $20. And I think to myself, at least I have my license in my wallet in case they need to identify my body, found face down, lying in a snowy field next to the freeway. What on earth was I doing? My mind screamed. You're either loony, in love, or just plain stupid. The snowflakes started to melt on my cheek as I continued to walk, my beckoning thumb thrust onward toward the oncoming traffic, carrying on the asphalt march towards my holy grail. My only thought, my only focus was getting to her. It had been just about 2 hours ago when, coming back from my last class for the week, I found myself in a conversation with my roommate and my friend from home, which quite frankly turned into a common theme discussion on the depth of despair and hopelessness I had been experiencing in missing her. I desperately needed her. I wanted to see her. I wanted to be near her, with her. Rob, in exasperation, reminded me, Jeff, you're getting married in 3 weeks, for goodness sakes. Can't you wait until then? My lack of response as I sat on the bed with my eyes closed, rubbing my forehead, was enough of an answer to my friend's question. You must really love her, he said. After moments in silence had passed, he picked up his guitar and started strumming Dust in the Wind, as the eerily hypnotic notes took me away to a vast golden windswept field of wheat somewhere in Kansas. I found myself standing in the middle of the field, repeating over and over, there's no place like home. There's no place like home. There's no place in my life without her. I didn't notice that he had stopped playing. Hey man, he parted my daydreaming. Did you hear what I said? Let's hitchhike to Portland. Are you crazy? I blurted. Do you love her? He retorted. We didn't have to wait long. Before our 2 extended digits brought our first ride coming from the fast lane, darting through bus traffic to darting through busy traffic to pull off the freeway in front of us. We ran up to the small red economy car with a duct-taped broken bumper and peeling paint. She rolled down the window. Where are you guys headed? North, we answered in unison. Hop in. And that was the start of my 800-mile adventure in the name of love. The 18-wheeler noisily pulled up next to us, hitting the Jake brakes with a loud whoosh, just outside of Tremont, Utah. This trucker would take us over 200 miles, stopping at his day's destination just before
just west of Boise. He was done for the day as we jumped out of the truck cab. "Thanks for the ride," we said as we stiffly began our midnight walk from the truck stop towards the I-80 on-ramp. It was dark. It was cold. It was blustery with whiteness swirling all around us as we trudged westward. Tired but determined thumbs extended when a lone vehicle's lights came nearer. I lost track of time in those witching hours of early morning emptiness. As we doggedly plodded onward, snow billowing around us, not saying much and without willing rides stopping, my thoughts turned to the beginnings of this life's venture with her. The yellow trimline rotary phone mounted to the kitchen wall rang out. It was Friday, July 29th, 1983. I was enjoying my summer break between college, working as a lifeguard at the HydroTube, newly installed in the center of the Clackamas Mall near Portland, Oregon. Little did I know that answering that phone that day would literally lead to the rest of my living existence, to the beginning of our story. "I got it," I yelled to anyone within hearing distance as I ran out of my basement bedroom, bounded up the staircase, slid through the kitchen entry, grabbed the corner of the wall to stop my momentum, and in the same moment, blindly snatched the receiver off the cradle. "Hello," I said, slightly breathless. "Jeff, it's Ron. Hey, are we going to the dance tonight?" "Absolutely. I'll pick you up at 8 o'clock. Thanks. See you later." Click. The metal cradle sounded as I set the handset down, ran downstairs, slipped into a clean pair of 501 button-up Levi's, pulled a new white t-shirt over my head, slipping into my moccasins, ran to the bathroom, and after brushing and gargling, dabbed some Brute cologne into my wrists and neck. "I'm going to the Centennial Building dance," I said loudly. "Bye." And closing the door behind me, ran and jumped into Grandpa Tanner's old white International pickup truck down the gravel road, heading to pick up Ron. The snow continued its dance of light flake flurry around our hooded heads. The only recognition in our early morning stumblings of shape and white, periodically changing the monotony of our zombie-like march into continued darkness, was the solitary passing of an unrecognizable vehicle speeding past our instinctually and thrust out thumbs. The distant dull light of a barn teased our senses. The dance had been a success. We had not missed a dance, nor, in our searching for gorgeous, hormonally driven minds, a girl. "All right," I said to Ron, "last dance. Let's make it count." He needed and made a beeline towards his last dance. I, on the other hand, hesitated, with no idea who I would share this last dance with, when I caught sight of a girl, not noticed in my evening up until now, leaning against the wall across the dance floor from me. Cute, dirty blonde, just standing there seemingly uninterested. I weaved my way through the couples starting to dance with purpose and confidently asking her, "Would you like to dance?" "No," she nicely but emphatically stated, as her girlfriend came up to us, and as time froze for me, I noticed for the first time this angel in white. Silky dark hair, penetrating sparkling blue-green eyes, engaging full-lip smile. How could I have missed her? This moment in time, this split second of my existence, my mind spun. Who is this beautiful person? The other half of that split second was this new girl saying, "Jody, go dance with him." I responded with an engaging smile. "Can I ask your friend then?" I was already smitten as we spun and twirled and touched and talked. Nothing else existed in my world in that moment in time. In that few minutes dancing with her, it was as if we were the only two people dancing in the entire universe. Just us, just her, Poppy. And then the music stopped. Jody was ready to leave. Poppy was needing to go since they had come together. They walked away, heading somewhere. I didn't know where. Ron found me, and after talking to a friend, we found ourselves back in the old white pickup. "Ron," I said, frustrated with myself, "I don't know if I'll ever see that girl again." "What's her name?" "Poppy." "I have to see her again." I felt ill in the pit of my stomach, thinking that I had no way of reconnecting. "Maybe she hasn't left yet," Ron offered. I began to drive around the building to see if I could catch her walking out. Once, nothing. Twice, nothing. And then on the third pass, her and Jody came walking out to the parking area. I pulled up next to her, cranking the window down, looking hopefully into those charming, playful eyes, asked, "Poppy, would you please come to the dance tomorrow night?" She smiled. That smile, I was melting. "Please," I begged. With that engaging sparkle to her eye, her voice breathed encouragingly, "I'll try." It was becoming colder. We had resigned ourselves to the point that no sane human being would pick up two stumbling men in the dark along the sparsely traveled freeway at 4 o'clock in the morning. So tired, exhausted, we hopped the barbed wire fence, trudged through the snow-covered alfalfa field, staggering into an abandoned barn, covered ourselves with straw, and passed out. I don't think I slept much. All I could think about was her, Poppy. She had told me, "My name is Poppy, Poppy Stamps." I had never met anyone with the last name of Stamps. That's odd, I thought. And what a cute first name, Poppy. My remembering of our brief encounter brought only the thought of how fitting her name was to her uniqueness. "Mom," I said, matter-of-factly, as I came back from the dance, "I think I've met the girl I'm going to marry." "What's her name?" "Poppy Stamps." I'm sure I saw her roll her eyes, knowing that meant, in her mind, thought the unspoken words, No. You're too much the playboy. You won't be settling down. Not yet." Ron and I pre-planned arrangements. We made pre-planned arrangements for this dance the following night. We needed to have a plan in case she actually came. I had no phone number, no address, no other details except for her name, Poppy Stamps. My whole hope was that she was intrigued enough to find us at the Cherry Hill building north of Camas, Washington. One of my girl, quote-unquote, friends was planning to be at this dance, and Ron was on assignment to keep her occupied if Poppy showed up. We arrived on time and knew our assignments for this evening. I don't know if I have prayed and hoped for anything more strongly than that she would come to this dance. I was beginning to think that she wasn't going to show up. When entering the outdoor grassy dance area, I noticed a tall, David Letterman look-alike young man accompanying Poppy Stamps. I can't describe the elation I felt as my Cheshire cat smile spread from ear to ear. Shyly, because she didn't know my name, she said, "Hi, this is my friend Bob." We danced, we talked, we laughed. We ended up, during a break for the DJ, walking out on the edge of a grassy hill, finding a flat rock to sit on together, looking out over the Columbia River Gorge with the lights of the city shining down below and a few twinkling stars above. I felt like I'd known her before, like I couldn't believe we hadn't been together forever. Like this felt so right, so natural. We talked that entire evening about her family, about my family, about her life, about my life. You live on a farm? She asked. Wow, that's amazing. I would love for you to come and see it, I said. What kind of animals do you have? She asked. Well, I answered, we've got rabbits and chickens and cows and, oh yes, we even have a fox. A fox, really? Yes, I said coyly, but only if you come. We spent that whole evening together. It was the beginning of forever evenings together with this beautiful person, Poppy Ann Stamos. Brushing the straw off our stiff, sleep-deprived bodies, we continued our journey across Idaho towards Oregon. A duck hunter picked us up out of Nampa, Idaho, and dropped us off at a little country cafe in Caldwell, Idaho. Well, Rob, I said, this has been quite an adventure. With luck, he responded, and picking us up, some kind of rides picking us up, we should make it to Portland by this evening. I found myself 11 rides later and 24 hours passing since our first hitchhiker's thumbs pointed optimistically skyward. Sitting alone on a dimly lit cement porch, my back against the front door. No one answered. No one was home. No one suspected that I would hitchhike 800 miles to show up on this quiet doorstep. I was giddy in anticipation. An hour later, Ed, Poppy's dad, came home from work and finding me on the doorstep, simply said, in surprise, "What are you doing sitting out here? The door's unlocked. You should come in." I didn't have a response because my mind thought the surprise of finding me in his house could have been a risky situation. I cleaned up, and not having a clean change of clothes, Ed put me in his white karate doji, and I sat excitedly waiting for Poppy to arrive. An hour later, in walks Poppy and her mom, Ollie. I guess I was expecting more of a collision of two lovers' reception rather than her running the opposite direction as if she had seen a ghost. Oh well, I smiled. We're getting married in 3 weeks. I can wait. I was endearingly attached to her, resolutely, insanely loony for her, and without a doubt, crazy in love.
Like that, Dad.
The way that you merged two stories that you've told so many times is pretty good. I really like that.
Yeah. It's a hard thing to do in storytelling, to be able to jump from time to time and keep your audience understanding what's going on. So that's really cool.
The funny thing of hearing that now with Annalie telling the story of Grandpa as he was older, but Grandpa's just the way he was, putting him in his karate outfit, like he could have given him anything.
And the way Dad is too, he probably was so proudly just in his karate. Like I would have been like, I'm not putting that.
No, Dad didn't care.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, it was probably about, by the time I think my dad got there, it was probably about 6 o'clock at night, and
I think it was later.
You had gotten there like at 5, I think, because
Yeah,
I remember
it was
it being
dark.
around 6. Not yet. It wasn't dark yet.
It was dark when I was on
Oh
the porch.
no, it was because it was December.
It was December.
Yeah. Okay, but anyways, I got off work at 6, but you didn't have cell phones, so you couldn't call anybody to say, what's going on or someone's here, come. So Mom and I decided to meet because I was feeling a little depressed because I hadn't been able to talk to him for a couple days on the phone. I couldn't figure out what was going on because I couldn't get him on the phone. And so Mom had decided to come over and we were going to go to the mall and look, for wedding ideas and different things. And so we went to the mall till it closed at 9 o'clock because I didn't want to go home. No idea he was there.
That's funny.
And so that's why it was like such a shock when I walked in. And I really did. I ran the other way.
I sat an hour or more on the porch waiting for somebody to come home. And then I sat an hour or more on the couch with your dad sitting there and in a karate outfit.
Yes, you did.
Waiting for you to come through the door.
I know.
And I thought you would just come over to me and
Throw my
hug me.
arms around you? No,
You
I ran the other way.
Ran down the hall like you'd seen a
It
ghost.
was so funny. But I think the other funny story about that was that I don't know if we've ever told you guys this one. I don't remember. But so we were so excited to see each other. And Mom and Dad folded out the couch for him, or I did, whatever. And made a bed for him. And so him and I were snuggling on the couch and couch bed. And we both fell asleep.
Oh, I was so tired.
And we didn't wake up till morning.
Oh no.
And
Yeah, it was sweet.
And
It was
well,
really
it was
sweet.
very sweet. There was nothing, and it was very innocent. But I remember waking up and thinking, "Oh my gosh,
I just slept with this man.
yeah, that's what you felt like." And my dad walks in and goes, "Just so you know, I've taken pictures. So if you ever give your kids a hard time, I'm going to show them the pictures."
Awesome.
That's really funny.
Isn't that funny?
That's really
Why didn't you ever show us pictures?
I don't even know where those are. I mean, honestly, I don't. But isn't that a funny thing that he?
There was a way that you wrote being in class at BYU, I think, and you know that scene in the first Top Gun movie when they're in the locker room, and I'm sure it was like a super sexy scene then, but watching it in 2020, it's like a super gay scene. But anyways, it's totally 80s when they're in their towels and
They're all just
they're
got
all
their
like
towels around it. Yeah. Okay.
But the way that you wrote your friend saying, "Hey, we should hitchhike," and you're like, "Are you crazy?" And then your friend goes, "Don't you love her?" Like it's a total 80s.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
That's
exactly what happened.
Well,
That's exactly what happened.
and don't you love that Dad
I could
put?
just picture that.
Well,
Can you imagine two 21-year-olds just spur of the moment, out of the blue? 2 hours later, they're got their thumbs up on the
they
freeway
didn't
going to 800 miles.
But they didn't bring change of clothes.
No.
Why would they have done that? Right? Like, and they brought not even warm clothes. It was snowing in December.
Rob
so
was
they had
Rob
little
was
white
in
ski
a no.
coats.
Rob he had a hoodie and a jean jacket.
Yeah. Well,
And luckily I had my ski jacket.
and one of the first rides you were picked up from was
That one I described, the girl that went across traffic to get us.
She was
a
a
prostitute. Yeah.
that
She was
picked
looking
him
for
up.
business.
She was.
Yep, she was.
Two cute guys. She's thinking, I'll go over and get them.
Yeah.
So then,
with them.
yeah.
No,
so then,
we only had about $20 to our name.
no, they didn't have anything.
Does that?
And you know what? They
did you
didn't
just
have.
insinuate that you tried?
No.
Thought about it.
No, not even.
We only had $20.
My mind
No,
was
Dad's
just
mind was
on her.
on one thing.
But Rob.
I don't know about Rob.
But
15 minutes. I don't know where you went.
it's so interesting about that whole thing. So Grandma and Grandpa, of course, they thought, all right, this kid, he must really love her to have hitchhiked 800 miles to see her. Like,
Yeah, 3 weeks before we were getting married.
yeah. And we, it was just fun. We had a great weekend, and Mom and Dad put him on a bus and shipped him back on Monday. I think they put you back on the bus. But his parents, when he called his parents, oh boy, they were so angry at him and how stupid he had done that. But it was so interesting, the two different perspectives, right? My mom and dad thought, wow, this boy must really care about her to do that. And his parents were like, well, that's the stupidest thing you ever done.
Well, and it was both parts.
Both
were true.
parts. yeah. Anyways, that was fun, Dad.
All right,
Okay.
Mom. Take us home. Oh, by the way, I went and checked all the podcasts. You were right. I did say it first.
Did you?
All right. Well, I was gonna say thank you everyone for coming.
We can thank everybody for watching.
Yeah, for watching. It's really awesome. This feels. It was fun to have Pierce and Jeremy here. I'm really sorry we had this crazy thunderstorm and the dogs went crazy.
Nothing to
And
apologize for.
I mean, we didn't get to have Jeremy finish with us.
They'll be back. So
But hopefully next time, yeah, or in a couple weeks, we'll have them. Our goal, of course, with this is to always hope that different family members will come and read with us, and that we can all heal through this podcast and heal ourselves. Also, we hope that we get to have guests come, because that's been really fun to have different guests come. Does anybody else want to add anything?
Well, we gotta.
today?
What do we want the 5-star to be today?
Oh,
Maybe moms.
which
Give us a 5-star rating, or you might think you're crazy.
yeah.
So we, at the end of this, Mom will say, "Give us a 5-star rating, please," or else something will happen to you, and it has to do with something in the stories that we read or listened to. So
Pierce, what did you think about being here for the first time?
I liked it. Well, yeah, I enjoyed hearing what everybody wrote, and made me have a lot of feelings. So, I think sharing is back to that, and bringing your impressions onto people and not knowing it. I think sharing, you do that, and you may not know the type of people or what you've done for somebody in just a few words, or made somebody think about in their own way. So I think it's very important to feel vulnerable, and if you don't want to write, that's probably a sign that you should write.
Well, yeah, so true. Again, for me, it's been very growing, because it's really hard for me to put down words that I know maybe I don't spell right. No one sees that, of course, but maybe it's not going to make sense. Maybe it sounds like a child, but the honest truth is it's helping me grow, and that's a really good thing. And I have really appreciated this podcast for that. Being able to write and being with the family's been awesome. Okay.
Well, we gotta do the.
I'm gonna say it right now.
Name of the episode.
Oh, the name of the episode.
Anybody have? I have an idea.
Okay.
I was gonna say "Crazy, Stupid, in Love." That was my
That's a
vote.
good one. My other idea was Jeremy's Book of ABCs.
Oh, that was good.
Like the title would be Jeremy's Book of ABCs.
I like Grandpa too. Something with I love.
It could be Grandpa, I Love You.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few good ideas.
Well, we gotta vote on that really quick.
Oh,
I like the
Crazy,
Yes.
Stupid, in
Crazy,
Love.
Stupid, in Love. What do you think, Dad? Yeah?
Sure.
Pierce? Is that a good title? Yeah. Alright, well, that sounds like the title. Okay.
Okay, well, thank you again for everybody listening and for those that watch. And please give us a 5-star review, or else you might think you're going a little crazy.